Guys, today I'm going to give you some tips on what to do when you have 2 gigs in the same day. I have no idea what these tips are going to be, by the way, because this is the intro of the video. So we're just kind of playing this by ear, no pun intended, and we're just going to go along about the day here. So real quick, I'm at Fiorelli Winery. This is a really cool winery out in Bradenton, Florida. It's about an hour drive from our house. So we play here from, I say we, my wife, she sings a couple songs with me, as you guys know. We're here from 1 to 5. Now, after that, we've got to book it back into Tampa to be at Bootleggers Brewing for Oktoberfest. I'm going to be playing there from 7 to 10. So we've got quite a day and quite a challenge ahead of us. So let's get on with the tips. Speaking of my wife, one important thing that I suggest that you have, if possible, is a very helpful and supportive significant other. That may be a spouse, that could be a boyfriend, girlfriend, or it could be just a good friend. It's good to have somebody there that's, going to help you and at least be supportive of what you're doing. Now, this is just a general tip. Well, actually 2 for 1 here. So you see I changed shirts. I always use a different shirt to set up the equipment here, especially when I'm playing outside, because in Florida, it's September, it is hot, okay? But the tip I really want to give you is make sure you stay hydrated. Now, this is important whether you have 2 gigs, 1 gig, whether you're playing 1 hour or 3 or 4 hours, doesn't really matter. I like to have quick access to a bottle of water, and my water is at room temperature. Again, I'm playing outdoors here, it's kind of hot, so I'm gonna have to drink extra water, but I like mine to be kind of at room temperature, not super cold. That just works a little bit better on the vocals. And yes, guys, it's not a good idea to keep liquids by electronics. I'm gonna come up with a better plan for that later, but that's just what we have for now. Okay, so let's see. It was loud for a little bit. It's loud, but then it drops back down. As you heard, the volume was here at normal volume. Then all of a sudden, boom, it just cut out. And it did this in the middle of a show. Guys, I have had guitar issues for 2 shows within the past 2 weeks. I'm like my Takamine acoustic, the G series, is in the shop right now. I'm having the electronics replaced because it just crapped out completely in the middle of a show a couple of weeks ago. Fortunately, I had my Telecaster and I played the Tele throughout the rest of the show. I know playing just electric guitar and singing is not ideal, but at least I was able to continue the show. Now, this time, the pickup didn't just cancel out, it just dropped way down. Not sure what happened here, guys. This is in the middle of a set, by the way, so I quickly grabbed my Telecaster and plugged it in, changed the patch on the Podgo. I use the Line 6 Podgo for my effects and my sounds, and I was able to finish the set with the Tele, right? So that Tele has come in quite handy. And you guys know I like to play that for solos in between. Like I'll loop a rhythm and I'll play my Tele, I'll play some solos over that. But anyway, so what I did during the break is I went through the process of elimination, checked the battery, changed the battery in the acoustic pickups, right? Went through the whole wireless, cable versus wireless, going through the Podgo, same issue. So what I ended up doing, because I didn't think it was the Podgo, the Tele worked just fine through the Podgo. What I ended up doing was plugging my acoustic directly into the soundboard, and for whatever reason, didn't have an issue. So that tells me something's going on with the Podgo, or maybe the particular patches I'm using for acoustic, or maybe, I don't know, maybe the electronics in the Martin, they do not communicate well with the electronics in the Podgo. I don't know. I've got to take my Martin back in anyway to get the action lowered. I want the strings lowered a little bit. We're getting on with the tips here, guys. I got off track a little bit, but I like to share the dialogue with you guys because these are things that can happen. Like the strangest things can happen when you're playing live and you're like, I've never experienced this before. Like, what just happened? So my key point here, guys, is to always have a backup plan. And oftentimes that means bringing 2 guitars to the show in case something just completely craps out. Again, my Martin, I plugged it directly into the soundboard, so for whatever reason that worked. I even plugged it in using my Boss wireless system. So I was able to finish the show, but I'm going to take my Martin back in. By the way, I've got a video on the new Martin guitar coming out, but I want to get the action lowered. And as a lot of you recommended when you saw me post the Martin last week on social media and the YouTube posts, you recommended that I change out the pickup. So I'm going to share all of that information in another video with you. But the key point here, guys, is to always have a backup, okay? Always have a backup, whether you're doing 2 shows that day or just 1 show. Even if you think it's just, okay, well, this is going to be a simple show, I just don't want to bring as much gear, I'm just going to bring 1 guitar. I always recommend that you bring at least 2 guitars.
Where do you go when you're on the edge? When there's no way to turn around, your back's against the wall again, and it's too late to turn back now. Where do you go when you're on the edge?
All right, so 1 show down, 1 more to go. We're on the road. Don't worry, I'm not filming. My wife is filming. The road's a little bumpy here, but hey, sometimes life roads are bumpy and you just go through them anyway. So hang out with me here. We are on the road right now to the next gig. Another tip is I am very sweaty right now. I know it's kind of gross. Hopefully that's not coming through the camera. I'm halfway joking, I'm not that gross. But I did bring a change of clothes. I do have extra deodorant and some body spray and that sort of thing. So that's another big tip. 1 gig to another, you might want to change clothes. My attire is a bit different here too. The Fiorelli Winery, which is a beautiful place, awesome place. I'm gonna have another video coming up on just that winery at some point because it is so cool. But anyway, so I wear like a Hawaiian shirt. I do wear shorts because we're outside. But going to this next gig, I'm kind of back to my regular, I don't know, I call it my rock and roll attire, where I'm just wearing kind of a black V-neck and that sort of thing and jeans. So I did bring a change of clothes for multiple reasons. So that's the other tip I have for you. I almost forgot to mention, thank you so much to our good friends Chrissy and Joe. They always help us tear down when we're at this particular venue and the other gigs they come to. So you know, when you have friends like that, I know that's not always the case, but when you have someone to help you with things like that, we packed up in like 15 minutes, which is just ridiculously crazy with the amount of gear that we have. Usually it takes my wife and I about 20-25 minutes, so that extra time is really going to help us get to this other gig on time. All right, so we made it to the second destination. We are here at Bootleggers Brewing, about to play the second gig here. We did catch some rain on the way in here, and it's actually raining outside now, but got all the gear unloaded from the car. And hey, who do we have back? He's trying to hide from the camera. So this is my good friend Mark here. We're on YouTube, man. I'm actually going to have Mark on my channel for some other reasons. He does modifications to amps and pedals and all that stuff, so really cool stuff. And this was not planned, by the way, this little meet and greet here. But anyway, we're gonna be talking about some modifications. That's gonna be on a different video coming soon. But guys, so we're gonna step into Bootleggers. We're gonna get this second show of the day kicked off. So that's my good friend Sevy. He goes by A Traveling Gentleman. He plays out and about as well, and he just finished his set. So I'm gonna get my gear all set up here as he's breaking down, and I'll start my set. All Alright, so we just got home for the night. All of our gear, that's all unloaded. And I do have some tips. We're going to talk about those. But guys, it's very late. It's like 11:30. It's been a long day. So I'm going to have a big protein shake, a glass of water. My wife and I, we are going to bed. So we're going to talk about this, the tips, tomorrow morning, which let's fast forward to right now. Okay guys, it is time to finish up with the final tips that I have for you. So first and foremost, you need a plan. You need a strategy, especially when you're going to be playing 2 shows in the same day. Now, let's talk about gear real quick. So for the winery, this is a bigger stage and we were kind of far back from where, where the audience was, where they were doing the wine tasting and such. So I knew that I needed all of my gear for that. I needed both speakers, I needed my monitor. There are a few other little pieces that I did without. There's like one effects pedal for vocals I didn't use. I had my wife's vocals. She only sings a couple songs with me anyway, but I had her vocals running directly to the board, and of course I had a vocal pedal, a little bit of reverb and delay. Again, I used the board effects for her vocals, so that was just one less component that I had to worry about setting up. Sometimes those little things can make a huge difference. Whereas going to Bootleggers, I didn't need my monitor. I only needed one speaker because we're kind of tucked into a corner back there. So I just needed less gear overall, right? So if you already have that in mind and just organize your gear accordingly, according to those shows, it just makes things run a lot smoother. Now apply that same strategy to your set list. Again, these are just things to do to make the gigs less stressful, especially when you have 2 shows in the same day. So for the winery, for example, I played a little bit different style. You guys know I'm 80s with a side of 70s. That's kind of my tag when I'm playing these acoustic shows. But I'm playing more like soft rock and just kind of like some radio rock and even some pop at the winery. And I'll throw in some other stuff from time to time depending on the crowd. But Bootleggers, well, I played more almost like hairband style stuff on acoustic, and I even pulled out some metal. Somebody wanted me to play Master of Puppets on acoustic, so I broke that out. I also played a Dio song, Rainbow in the Dark. I also played my acoustic version of Wasted Years. I'll try to capture these on video next time for you guys. But my list was a little bit different for that show, but I already had those prepared in advance. By the way, I've got another video on how to create and organize your set list for live solo gigs. I'll put that up there if you guys haven't seen that. Another preparation tip is to prepare your meals ahead of time if possible, or at least know what you're going to eat and when. So we woke up Saturday morning, had the normal eggs and oatmeal with some blackberries. I wanted a meal that's going to give me plenty of protein, but also some sustainability and some energy that I needed to carry on with the day. Now, I typically don't eat as much on the day of shows. For some reason, my adrenaline kicks in, and of course, I sing much better when my belly's not full. So that's just me. Now, on that note, you do want to stay hydrated. Obviously, that's a very obvious tip, but I'm just drinking water. Like I've got this big Bubba mug that you saw there. I'm just chugging that water, throughout the show, and of course, we have to set up and tear down. So I am constantly drinking water. Now, the greatest tip I want to share with you guys, I saved this for the end because it's probably the most important, is caring for your voice. So not only are you performing and setting up and tearing down, you're also using your voice for a lengthy period of time. Remember, Friday night, I had a 4-hour show. The next day, Saturday, I had another 4-hour show followed by a 3-hour show that same day. So you would have thought my voice would have taken a beating, and before, I'd say probably like just a couple of months ago, had I done this, my voice would have been wrecked today. I would not be able to talk, much less sing. Do care for your voice, and one of the best ways you can do that, of course, staying hydrated and getting the proper nutrition, that stuff helps, obviously. But the one thing I do is I do daily vocal warm-ups every single day, especially before a show. So when we're on the way to our first show yesterday, of course, I'm in the car just listening to my warm-ups, my normal warm-ups that I do. I use 2 sources for vocal warm-ups, by the way. One is Ken Tamplin's YouTube channel. He's got some great exercises, some vocal exercises that he points you towards. So I do a lot of those daily. I also use Elizabeth DeDeuce's course, Metal Vocal Virtuoso. Now, she not only teaches you how to sing metal, she also teaches you to sing other styles and subgenres of rock and metal music music as well. She has got some really awesome warm-ups, some very unique warm-ups using a unique way of using the vowels there. I go through those almost on a daily basis as well. That course, by the way, is hosted on the Metal Mastermind website, where all of my guitar courses are as well. And just a shameless plug, guys, I am co-owner of Metal Mastermind with Ken Candela, so that is a course that we offer, again, called Metal Vocal Virtuoso. I'll put a link to that in the description of this video. But any kind of vocal exercises you can do on a daily basis if you're serious about singing, it's just going to help you. But the point is, guys, is to warm up your voice, and you don't want to overdo these warm-ups. You don't want to try to belt out those notes or do anything crazy. You're just kind of going through the motions, getting that voice ready. The voice, as Ken Tamplin says in one of his videos, is very temperamental. You don't want to try to force it, and I'm quoting Ken Tamplin here. You don't want to try to force it out there, okay? You want to just subtly and gradually warm up your vocals. So spend about 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes warming up your voice with some exercises. And I'll put links to the course I talked about, Metal Vocal Virtuoso, and I'll put a couple links there to Ken Tamplin's videos that I recommend as well. All that will be in the description of this video. And I'd like to put some more vocal content on what I do and just my style of singing and things that I've learned over the past couple of years, or really throughout my lifetime, but especially the past couple of years as I've taken singing more seriously. I'll start sharing more of that content if that's something that you would like on this channel, so let me know in the comments. Guys, to wrap up, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got some value out of it. And I'll say this real quick, this style of videos, of course you guys know I'm always going to give you metal guitar lessons. That's never going away, but this style of video where I got to share like just multiple components and I shot the video in like multiple locations here. I had so much fun filming this and I had so much fun putting this together. So let me know if you'd like more videos like this. I really enjoy making them for you. I hope they hold people's attention, you know, because it was just an interesting journey, and I like to bring you guys along with these journeys that I'm going through. And thank you again, guys, for supporting my channel here. While you're at it, please give this a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to check out all the links in the description of this video that I provide for you. Those are just some additional helpful tips for you. Guys, until next time, I usually say keep it metal, but this time we kept it live acoustic. So more to come. I'll see you in the next video.